Dear Maddie, Mackenzie, Chloe, Brooke, Paige, and Nia, life here in New York is great. In the Middle Colony, there are longer growing seasons than New England and soil rich enough to grow cash crops, which are crops that are grown to be sold for money. Many different groups contribute to the culture of the Middle Colonies. Because there are so many different groups bringing in religion, the diversity of all the religions helped create a climate of tolerance. And did you know New York has a larger amount of African American descent than any other city in northern colonies? Here, I am a miller. My job is to crush the grain the farmers bring to us between heavy stones to produce flour or meal. The bread that consists baked with these products is very important for us to eat. The colonists eat about a pound of grain each day from our food. Even though colonists eat a lot of grain, we still have plenty left over to send to the region's coastal markets for sale. The Middle Colonies are very diverse. I am Catholic. Everyone has lots of freedom in the Middle Colony, which is a big change from England. In fact, that's one of the reasons I left England for the Americas. Houses here in New York are used for everything like work, play, and visiting places. The houses have large families that normally hold 7 kids, good for you girls, aunts, uncles, and grandparents. The houses were made of wood and mud. In the Middle Colonies, people are broken up into 3 statuses. The statuses are the gentry, the rich people and best educated, the middle class, which is basically merchants and farmers, and the lower class, which are sailors. The colonists wear clothes that fit their statuses. Most people wear cotton and linen, like me. People in the gentry class could afford better clothes that materials are imported, but other clothes are made by women of the household. I know this is hard to hear about, but slavery is very harsh. The owners beat the slaves so they do their work. However, they do not kill a slave because they are worth money. They only kill one if they are sick, so they wouldn't get the other slaves sick. Slaves work in cities as laborers like blacksmiths and carpenters. About 7% of the population is enslaved, and as I told you, New York City has a very large number of people of African descent, more than any other colonies. Here, the slaves work as laborers, drivers, servants, and assistants to artisans and craftspeople. Dear Vivi and Sir Justice, I have lots to tell you about my life in Maryland. In this southern colony, we have almost a year-round growing season, and it's great to plant crops like rice and tobacco. Since we live on the edge of an Indian country, frontier families built cabins, cleared tracks in the wilderness, and they cultivate maize and wheat. The men wear clothes made of leather from deer or sheep called buckskin. The women wear garments of cloth they spun at home. We have great barbecues, dances, housewarmings for nearly wed couples, shooting matches, and contests for making quilted blankets. I am a farmer. To run the farm and produce the best crops, tobacco, rice, and indigo, we do use slaves. Farming is an important way to make a living because of its climate and geography. It is very hot, which is good for the colonists in the southern colony. The most popular and important crops to grow are rice, tobacco, and indigo. Indigo is especially important because it is the main source of blue dye. Rice is also popular because it is extremely purple. You children are sure aware that I am Anglican. In these colonies, Anglican faith is the most predominant, which is what made me want to come to the southern colony. Anglican involves being Baptist and Presbyterian. Most Protestants are in fact Anglican. The Anglican don't believe that the Native Americans enslaved religion is an actual religion. The Anglican faith is one of the major religions in the southern colonies, however, the Anglican church is not very powerful in the south. The Anglican religion is a devout Christian religion and does not encourage harsh judgment on others. In the southern colony, the land is big. The houses are usually made out of brick and have 3 to 4 bathrooms and 6 to 7 bedrooms. We grow venison, rice, hunt for wild turkey and livestock, and the economy in the southern colonies is based upon plantations and slavery. The main crops that are grown are indigo, tobacco, wheat, and rice due to the irrigation from nearby rivers. We do here have slaves. In fact, I own a few, though I am not necessarily for slavery. The other men I work with, however, are for it and insist on having slaves. African and European indentured servants work on the fields together. Slaves can be beaten and worked hard, which is what they normally do. It is not the best way of living, but many slave owners do not realize this. Dear Broadway baby, life in Rhode Island is turning out great. New England is different because most farmers practice subsistence farming. That is, they produce just enough food for themselves and sometimes a little extra to trade in town. In New England, there's whaling, where you hunt down whales, take the blubber and fat off the whales, and you make oil for lamps, candles, medicines, perfumes, and much more. I am a sailor who also contributes in whaling. We hunt whales and kill them for oil. I go deep sail whaling, where we go out for long periods of time whale hunting. As well as using whales for oil, we would use the teeth and bones for artistic products, and they were decorated. The whaling industry is the most important to all men that take turns whaling. Whaling is the most profitable industry, and it promotes other adjacent industries, like an important one, manufacturing of sails and of cordage. You may not know this, but I am a Puritan, which suits the colonist's harsh life. We are a group of people who believes that the Bible is God's true law and that it provides a plan for living. We came in family groups and wanted to come to New England for freedom to practice the Puritan religion. We fled England to America, where we attempted to create a nation of states which is very religious, benefiting a community designed to be an example for all Europe. The first houses in New England were simple wooden huts, but soon after, the houses became more advanced with more rooms and replaced oiled paper with glass windows. The other woman and I wear lace colors often. Men wear knee-length garments called breeches with stockings and boots. They also wear a jacket called a doublet with a cape over it and wear their hair long. There are very few slaves in New England. Slavery does not much benefit our small farms. In fact, farmers could not afford to feed and house the slaves who were not working. Despite this, some New Englanders in large towns and cities own slaves. Their slaves work as house servants, cooks, gardeners, and stable hands. Sometimes slave owners allowed their slaves to keep a portion of their wages. And also, some enslaved persons were able to save enough money to buy the slaves' freedom. In fact, New England was home to more free blacks than any other region.